Hi, this is Travis with Two Brothers Adventures. Want to show you a set of auxiliary lights that I got for my motorcycle. These are Clearwater lights, Krista model. These lights are designed primarily for the motorsports industry. They're an LED light. There are three 12-watt LEDs in the housing. These put a total output of about 100, or compared to 150 watt halogen bulb, with only using 35 watts of power. So they're great in applications where you don't have a lot of extra power to use, but you want a lot of light. These lights would also be great auxiliary lights on a quad or a truck or any other type of application around that. In fact, these are being used at an island hospital as actual operating lights. So we'll talk a little bit about the lights themselves. So this is the kit that you get with the lights. You get the two lights themselves. They're in a really nice metal machined housing. You can see they have really nice heat sinks on the back to deal with heat. All the cabling is integrated with nice clips. So it's a nice enclosed package. You get the mounting brackets. You get a dimmer. What this dimmer, when it connects in, what this gives you the ability to do is adjust the light output of these. Clearwater recommends that you leave them on the low setting for on the road, and then you can adjust them up. When you adjust them up to the high setting, those are typically only used for off-road type applications. So you typically on the road, so you don't blind people, you'd want to use the low setting, but it does have a dimmer and an adjustable dimmer. You get on-off switch as well as multiple different connectors, zip ties, different pieces here, and then you get the actual wiring harness kit. What's really nice about this kit is you get all the components or wires that you need. You get the fused power to the battery and the ground. You get switched, everything's labeled real nice if you can see this. So you get switched hot, so it turns on and off with your key. 12 volt to switch. You get these two wires are really cool. These are optional if you want to use them or not. You get a high beam and a horn. What this does is when you turn on your horn, it overrides the dimmer switch and puts the lights to full brightness, as well as when you honk your horn, it'll light the lights up to full power, so that if you're honking, if someone's cutting you off, something like that, as well as the noise, they get the light. And then switch load. So as you can see, here's your control module. You have all the nice green clips to clip into the lights, the dimmer, everything's nice and easy to go together. And then they send you a multitude of different stainless steel bolts and nuts for different applications for installing on different holes, different light bars, things like that. If you have a BMW GS, there is a specific kit for the GS that'll clip right into the factory fog lights modules. One of the other really nice things about Clearwater is they send you this really nice installation manual. So as you can see, this installation manual goes into great detail, talks a lot about the lights, the technology behind the lights, different mounting options, and then they have really nice color pictures, so it shows you exactly where, like here showing you the handlebar dimmer mount switch, a location you can put it on. You have what wires to tap into where, and then you have a really nice wiring diagram all in color, so you can see exactly where everything needs to get wired up to. So this is a complete kit. Everything is included here that you'll need to do an installation on a motorcycle. So we're going to do an installation of these lights on my 2009 Suzuki DL650 v-strom, and we'll show you how we do that installation, different pieces as we go through it. Okay, we're getting ready to put on the Krista lights. I have a Pat Walsh design light bar from Pat Walsh Designs on the front of my v-strom already, so we already have that installed. We're going to be mounting the Krista lights here on each side. It's about 110 degrees outside here in Phoenix, so we actually pulled my motorcycle through the sliding glass door of my brother's house into his kitchen. So we're going to be doing the installation in the kitchen where it's nice and cool here, and we're going to be mounting the Kristas right up here on the front. Okay, so we've got the mounting bracket and we got the lights installed just loosely on here because we're going to have to tighten them down and obviously adjust them later. We're going to take this cord from each one of the lights, and there's a front vent right here on the V-strom. So we're going to pull the two side panels off, and then we're going to feed this light, or this wire, through the vent through here into underneath the panel. Okay, as you can see, we mounted the dimmer switch. What we did was remove this bolt for the cable guide that's right here by the ignition, and we actually had the bracket that Clearwater sent. We had to drill out the hole just a little bit bigger to accept that bolt that goes back in there, and so we got the dimmer switch installed here right next to, right through the same bolt with this cable guide here on the front.
Okay, so we've installed the control module that has all the wiring harness pieces coming out of it right there. It's the little black box right there, as you can see. And what we did is we took and we put a piece of industrial strength Velcro on the back of that and Velcroed it to this front support right here. And we moved the wheel back and forth a bunch of times, the handlebars and the forks, and made sure that nothing's pinching or anything. We also put a little zip tie right there to tie those wires tight against that brace. So anyways, that's what we've got to right now. Now we got to run these other wires and we'll show you that.
Okay, now we've run the power on the ground. You can see right here, those cables right here. We'll zip tie these later when everything's done, so we make sure we have a nice tight bundle right there. You can see it coming right through here. We cross over, and then they come around, and they actually, there's a one for the ground. This is the fuse, the orange wire, and one to the positive. So those are all wired in. So that's the straight direct 12 volt and ground.
Okay, next we're going to wire the headlight full power, which is the white wire coming out of your control module, and you can see that white wire right there, to the yellow wire coming out of the headlight. And you can see the yellow wire right there. I don't know if you can see that that's yellow, but the yellow wire out of your headlight. So we're going to use one of these taps that come with the harness, and we're going to get that done. Okay, so as you see, we use one of the supplied taps right there. I think they're called a vampire tap or something like that. Posty tap. We put it right into the yellow wire. You can maybe see the yellow wire a little bit better right there. Let me go into macro and see if I can show that to you.
That's the high beam. So when the high beams are engaged, the crystals will go to full power.
Okay, so we ran the horn wire that's going to activate the lights when you hit the horn from the main block up there. We wrapped it down underneath, routed it. I
have an auxiliary horn that I've installed, so my horn wiring is actually right here. As you can see right here, this goes to my air horn. So we tapped into the hot right there. Look out, Chloe.
Hey, get back, dog.
And there's the white wire coming in and tapping in there. So when I hit my horn, it'll go to full power on the Kristas. Okay, so now we're running the switch. As you can see, it's 12 volt to switch. It's labeled. There's a label on the back of the actual switch here. So it tells us that the 12 volt to switch goes on this side, the load goes in the middle, and the ground on the other side. Now we're going to take this switch and I'm going to temporarily mount it right up here on top of the controller. I'm just going to zip tie it here for now because I'm going to order or build myself one of the plates as you can get for the v-stroms that go up here. That's a metal plate that bolts into these two cable ties so that I can mount all of this stuff flush right up here by my key area. So since I don't have that piece yet, I'm just going to zip tie this switch right here for now and tidy up all the cables.
Alright, so our last hot wire was supposed to go to the low beam, which is the blue wire right there, and to give us the power, the initial power. But on the v-strom, when you go to high beam, it cuts out the low beam, the power to the low beam, so it was killing the lights. So what we did is we ran the wire up, and my brother actually has a switched 12 volt cigarette lighter outlet there, or 12 volt outlet, and so we tapped into the hot switched power right there. So now everything's working. Right now you're seeing the low beam that's standard on the Suzuki v-strom motorcycle that my brother rides. And go ahead and turn it on to high beam. Those are just the stock high beams. Now go ahead and put on the Krista lights and go to the full bright, and then go ahead and dim them. The nice thing about these lights is they have a dimmer switch so that you can dial in the intensity that you want for your riding conditions and your personal preference. They're also hooked into the horn. They go onto their brightest setting when you honk the horn. Somebody cuts you off in traffic or something, not only can they hear your horn, but they can also visually see you. And then these are also tied into the brights, so when you turn your bright light on, they go to their maximum setting, and then if you have a car approaching and you dim your lights, it also dims the Clearwater lights.